saying the wall comes up as you puff up and you're protected more? Okay. And, you know, the statement that was made, it clearly has affected you. And like I said before, the values that you have, you know, that it's understandable why it affects you. I'm wondering, though, where in her statement doesn't mean that you're not reliable at all to anybody, at all.
Oh, so what, the truth in it? It's like, I don't think I'm completely undependable. I mean, she can choose to see me that way, but that's her choice. No, I don't think I'm not dependable, period, but I think she, you know, if that's her experience, I can't change that.
Okay. So, I mean, the struggle, it sounds like to me that here's Kristen, very caring, values people, relationships, connectedness, and then an incident takes place where you're told the complete opposite. And all of a sudden, those values that you have and the things that you're proud of, they get minimized a little bit more. So that's where the discrepancy is. You know, it sounds like once it happened, that's what you've been struggling with. You were maybe told something that you just don't see in yourself, and maybe have had other experiences to counter what she had said. Is that accurate, or am I missing something within the struggle?
That fits, I suppose.
Okay. Now, in this situation with your housemate, what the feelings that you have from the incident, how would you like to view this whole incident, how it happened and how it took place, if you were able to?
Well, maybe try to be understanding of why I am reacting the way that I am.
Okay.
Say, well, it is important to me to be, you know, to have good relationships with people, and this incident is, I guess, wounding to my self-esteem because, you know, it's not something that I self-identify as. So just understanding that makes me feel more sane, you know, rather than just being angry.
Okay. So being more understanding of the situation and will help you cope with maybe some of the comments or things that happen to you in your life a little bit better. Is that what I'm hearing?
I guess understanding why that statement would hurt me so much.
Okay.
Helps me to kind of accept myself and accept the situation. It's like, she's not perfect.
Sure.
That probably comes out of her own wounds. So I just, every time I think about it, it makes me angry.
Yep. So more understanding of who you are as a person, and kind of checking yourself when you hear certain things, and maybe processing a little bit better, so you're not beating yourself up so much. Is that? Okay. So how will Kristen know that she's moving in the right direction with being more understanding of herself and allowing herself not to be perfect?
I'm supposed to be able to say, well, that her, instead of focusing on it and getting angry, saying it hurts, you know. And kind of being more compassionate toward myself, I suppose, and the fact that, so it's painful.
So maybe some acknowledging that, yes, this hurts, opposed to internalizing and blocking yourself off from everything. Okay. And you said that you had a second concern too. Are you comfortable with what we just discussed with the housemate? Are we, or is there something I'm missing, something more I need to know maybe about the situation?
I don't think so.
Okay. And you said that there was a second thing kind of bothering you. So you want to tell me what's going on with that?
Well, it's kind of a situation where I volunteer, and I don't know, how much time do you have left? I have time to discuss this one.
15 to 20.
So I decided to write up, you know, kind of what my, like I thought kind of participating in groups at this house, at a treatment house, and occasionally facilitating a group or two and participating in you know, art activities with women. And then I decided, since my role recently changed, I'm not sitting in on morning groups anymore. I decided I'd write a kind of a volunteer agreement, kind of like, this is the way that I'm going to participate in the groups in the house. And I sent it to the kind of the lead staff person there. And she wrote back and said that she didn't see me as a volunteer. She said she saw me as a participant. And if I wanted to be a volunteer, then I could go to the hospital and go about becoming a volunteer, and we could discuss later what their needs would be for a volunteer.
Okay. So this is something that sounds pretty important to you, that you wanted to continue doing, and you took the time to write the letter, the contract, about work, you know, coming in as a volunteer basis. And it sounds like you got something back that maybe wasn't as professional, or maybe even attacking.
It felt like I don't know, it felt like a bit of a rebuff in a way. I don't know. I guess I was trying to be professional, and maybe that's a good word for it. I guess I felt like the response was just a little, I guess I was surprised, you know, just how cold it was.
Okay. So there was some language in there that
it wasn't
really
even language, but it was just like, you know, I see you as a participant, and I mean, that's fine, you know.
What is that word participant seems to
I guess
get a rise out of you? What's the feeling that you're a participant?
I guess it felt a little bit like a demotion, like when you know, in a way, but I don't know if it necessarily needs to be thought of that way. I think, you know, if I like it if somebody says, okay, here's what you're thinking, I get what you're saying, this is the way I see it, you know, rather than this is the way I see things.
So instead of a letter of appreciation and maybe professionally saying, you know, this is not going to work out, it was almost a letter of unappreciation.
Yeah.
And maybe you felt written off.
Yeah,
all
it
your
felt
efforts.
like that.
Okay.
Bit of a, dismissal a bit.
Okay. What's that like for you to be dismissed?
I don't like it.
It's hard to sit with.
Again, it's painful.
Are you done with the
Well, I
that you were
planned
doing?
on continuing to participate,
Okay.
but, and I would like to, but, and I wrote back and I said, oh, thanks for letting me know. It's what the way you see my position. If you have any other feedback on the form, and she says, how about you write me at my other email address? That was her response back.
Okay.
So she didn't answer my question. It sounds like instead I have to rewrite the email or copy and paste it to her other email because she doesn't want to look at this at home. And
So you felt dismissed again.
yeah.
Okay. So what keeps you going back in a place where the supervisor is dismissing you, making you feel
I
uneasy?
think I care about the women, and
Okay.
I don't think, I guess I don't feel like those things are insurmountable if somebody's disrespectful.
Mhm.
And maybe, I guess I think, well, maybe I'm taking it too personally, maybe I'm overreacting.
Okay. Talk about that. What makes you think maybe you're overreacting?
Well, because immediately my feelings were anger and maybe shame or something. I'm not sure if they were, but I felt really hurt.
Okay.
So I thought that was awfully quick, and I know this person is very short, and I know that's her style of communicating with a lot of people. So
Okay.
I'm wondering if I'm overreacting. I guess.
And there, some of your values are kind of coming out. It seems that connectedness, that relationship. It sounds like communication is important to you. Thorough communication.
Yeah.
It also sounds to me that, feeling appreciated and welcome.
Yeah, I try
It's
to
also
do
something
that,
that's
so I
important.
guess maybe I have a hope or expectation that others would be that way, and it disappoints me when it's
Okay.
not.
So the event that took place is and I'm going to sum it up real brief here. Don't mean to do it any disrespect if I don't get everything verbatim. You worked as a volunteer, and you sent
Well,
a.
I worked
Oh, I'm
as,
sorry.
I sat in on groups,
Mhm.
morning groups, for 5 months,
Okay.
and I facilitated a couple groups.
Okay. So you were more than a volunteer. You were a facilitator too. That's a lot of responsibility. Okay. So
And
you.
she didn't call me a volunteer, apparently. I was just a participant, which is fine. I
Okay.
was a participant.
Okay.
I sat in on groups, that's what, I guess, maybe I assumed a volunteer. But
Okay.
I would think if I was facilitating groups,
Mhm.
then I was doing more than.
What does Kristen want to call it?
Do I want to call it?
Mhm. Are you a
I was-
participant? Are you a volunteer? Are you a facilitator? What do you want to call it?
If I'm facilitating groups, I would think I'm volunteering. And I'm, yeah, that's my thought on it.
Do I have permission to call you the volunteer then?
Oh, it's hard because that's not the way that the supervisor sees it.
This is about Kristen. What do you see it as?
I both participated and volunteered at the house.
So both. Okay. So you were a participant and a volunteer, and you sound like you drafted up a contract to continue your services.
Just an agreement, kind of like
Agreement.
this is how I'm going to be available
Mhm.
to the women. If you want, or they want, they
Mhm.
can contact you, have them contact me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more professional, more,
Sure.
got more clear boundaries.
Mhm. Yeah. Because in a way, you're kind of a service provider for facilitating groups at the same time. And you draft this up, get it to her. She uses language that hurt you, that made you feel unappreciative.
So maybe it's a style, that was just kind of a dismissive style,
Okay.
which is her personality.
And once that happened, it sounds to me that you right away figured out what are the things that you would have done differently or how you would present it,
Right
communication.
away